everyone, this is Emily speaking from Couch English, channel dedicated to both practical business issues aligned with practical business English as well. Today, I would like to concentrate on extremely significant topic, burnout. And probably from the very beginning, I would say that unfortunately, it is some kind of the topic that I meet quite often lately. And I'm a little bit sad that it really happens to us, that we're surrounded by such an changeable environment, so many issues all the time surrounding us, that it's in fact not that easy to be able even to avoid burnout. At the same time, if I'm thinking about burnout, I have in my mind the difference between English and also my native language, which is Polish, because I have that kind of the feeling that if we think about English and burnout, even the name of it really can show us that burnout can happen in every area of our life. So, of course, we can face it at work, but at the same time, we can face it in our private life, in a relationship, or as parents. But at the same time, if I think about Polish language, I would say that the Polish definition of burnout and even the name itself shows us that it only exists at work, which is not true, definitely, but somehow it happens. Today, I would anyway like to concentrate mainly on our work environment because let's say that's about business topics and business English. So that's why I'm going to touch that topic strictly from the professional environment. But let's not forget that if it is about burnout, it can really, really happen in every area of our life. And probably to explain a little bit more the definition of burnout, I would start from some real case study, from some kind of the example that I met some time ago to show you what can be the possible symptoms of burnout. So let's just imagine, for the purpose of understanding burnout, that there is some kind of a person. Let it be Anne. And Anne works in a large international company, managing strategic HR decisions and overseeing multiple projects. She is known for being driven, accountable, and supportive. She has operated at a high pace for years, often working long hours. So, probably from that short description, we can imagine that that's a perfect employee because she has been managing a lot of projects, she has been managing HR duties. And I guess that if she's eager to execute her task, if she's so accountable, if she takes ownership, perfect. That's how she or any kind of the employee should work. But the thing is that lately, probably not even people, I'm not even sure if she can observe that, but let's say lately what we can observe is that Anne has been struggling with mental fatigue. So, what is happening right now is that if she's supposed to make some kind of simple decisions, let's say she goes to the shop and she's just about to buy some simple stuff, maybe some kind of the sweets, maybe some kind of the typical shopping list for home. If she's supposed to do it, she is facing some kind of the issues with taking that kind of decision. So, like simple decision, what kind of pasta I should buy, is going to be difficult for Anne. At the same time, she's also facing some memory lapses. So probably if she's taking some kind of the opportunity to give a presentation, she's participating in a meeting, and she's giving a speech, it might really happen that at the moment of speaking even and taking the stage, she might forget what she's talking about, or she has her list of the tasks of the duties to be done, and somehow she really forgets what she has done just a moment ago. So some kind of the memory issues, it can be something that is happening to Anne as well. And probably some physical symptoms. So let's say that what she might be experiencing are some kind of persistent headaches. And on purpose, I even wrote here persistent headaches because I can assume that, well, it might probably happen to each of us that from time to time we are going to experience some kind of the physical inability because, well, it's like human to experience that. But let's say that it is something regular, repetitive, that she doesn't have those headaches like every month, let's say like once per month, but it is something like really repetitive for a longer time period. So let's say for a month, for 2 months, very regularly she's experiencing those headaches. Another thing might be related to emotional instability. So let's say that she has her ups and downs. If it is about her mood, different kind of emotions, unpleasant, pleasant emotions, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of irritability. And probably what is going to be important here, as I'm talking already about burnout, is that maybe at the very beginning, when she's just experiencing stress, because it might also happen, she is going to have that kind of mood swings. So pleasant and unpleasant emotions, they might really happen. But the longer we're exposed to burnout, when we really enter that particular state of our mind and emotions and physical condition, the thing is going to be that we won't have those swings anymore, because generally our emotional state is going to be more or less stable, which doesn't mean it's good, because that stability means that generally we rather experience those unpleasant emotions. So it will be rather about frustration and that irritability. And if it is about something like much, much more positive, it won't really happen, unfortunately. So stable emotions, but rather those unpleasant ones. In a moment, I will still refer to that. Another thing that she might be experiencing is about social withdrawal. And that's an important thing also to show this how it works with the symptoms of burnout, because what is important here is that, of course, it might happen that Anne has never had too many contacts with people. And then probably if I'm going to observe her and I'm going to see, oh, she doesn't have contact with people, she doesn't build relations, well, I can't say that the symptom of burnout, because, well, she is that kind of the person, because maybe she's an introvert, and generally for her, keeping close relations with a lot of people, participating in different kind of integrations events, it's not something regular for her just because of her personality. But here, my assumption is that we can observe a change, and that's something important if we think about burnout. And the same would be, in fact, in case of the chronic stress, that if we can experience some kind of the change in our behavior that is really impacting the way how we function in the environment, of course, meaning that we're not able anymore to function in the environment. So it's rather the negative change. That's how we can recognize that we're experiencing chronic stress, and then, of course, also burnout. So in that particular situation, my assumption is that she used to have contacts with people. She liked probably spending time with the other people. And right now, she can experience some kind of the change, and she's withdrawing from contacts with the other people. And the other thing, which is strongly connected with the emotions I was already mentioning, loss of satisfaction. So she probably feels exhausted. I would even say, like, physically and mentally. She feels empty, and she doesn't feel satisfaction with the tasks she used to really like. And that's, again, that kind of the important point, that if she used to be satisfied, happy, engaged in different kind of the tasks, really like doing something, and now exactly the same tasks, they don't bring satisfaction, and she feels empty, she feels powerless, it means that definitely something is wrong, and it can be one of the symptoms of burnout. And if it is about those different kind of the symptoms, I decided to divide them into three different categories. So what you can see here are the physical symptoms, emotional, and behavioral. Of course, we can list plenty of the others, but I took that kind of a decision to choose the most significant ones. So what you can see here are, among the others, the physical symptoms. And I would say that something what for me personally is like really, really critical is some kind of the fatigue, exhaustion that you can experience. And again, what is going to be important here is that, of course, it can happen that at certain point of our life, we can feel exhausted, tired, we can feel the fatigue, but probably if everything is generally quite sufficient in our life, that kind of exhaustion, that kind of the fatigue, it can be somehow, we can recover from that. So let's say that if I had laid like really an intense project, but at the same time, during the weekend, I'm going to relax, I'm going to rest, I'm going to sleep a bit, probably when I'm going to go to work on Monday, everything is going to be okay, because I will be able to charge my batteries and I will be able to regain my energy. But in case of burnout, it doesn't work like that. unfortunately. So it might happen that I'm just like waiting really for Friday, and I'm leaving my work completely exhausted without any kind of energy, any kind of the power. And even if I'm going to rest during the weekend, I'm not going to do anything tiring really. I will still have that kind of the feeling that I'm still tired and exhausted. So this is like one of the most important symptoms, that it's impossible to recharge our batteries, to regain our energy. Of course, a bit, yes, but we won't be able to come back to our previous physical or emotional state, even if we rest and relax. So that is something like really significant, how we can recognize burnout. If it is about emotions, another one, apart from something I was already mentioning, is in fact that emotional detachment. And that's something really important. So it might look in that kind of the way that if I'm experiencing burnout, I have that kind of the feeling that I'm not the participant of that particular situation. I'm rather like the observer. So I can see what is happening. I'm in during my regular routine. I'm, for example, participating in the meeting, but I'm not there. I'm not engaging myself. I'm detached. I'm like the shadow. And I can probably feel it that somehow I'm there, but, well, frankly speaking, I'm not actively there because I don't have still any more power to do it. And my brain knows that. So if my brain is aware that probably I'm experiencing burnout, it can't invest any more energy in something what used to be typical for me. So if in the past I was participating in the meeting, I was sharing my opinions, I was very involved, I was talking with the other people, I was asking them questions, if I'm experiencing burnout, I won't do it because any kind of activity really requires energy from me. And if I'm so drained, it means I don't have that energy, so I can't invest anything. That's why that kind of emotional detachment, it's some kind of remedy how I can still survive despite experiencing burnout. And one more thing connected with behavioral symptoms. What can happen here is that apart from the obvious thing that I'm going to have reduced professional effectiveness. And of course, it is something what we won't notice at the very first moment. Because let's say if we could, it would be quite easy. I could just I could just compare my performance, how it was, I don't know, 3 months ago, how it is right now. If the performance is lower, yeah, that's about burnout. But that's, of course, not how it works. Because at the very beginning, even if we're entering burnout, still we can perform. And I guess that in that example I was mentioning to you about, and it was like that. She was still performing because it was some kind of the routine for her. She didn't have to invest so much energy to be able to deliver 100% of her performance. So, probably for the other people also, it wasn't so simple to notice that something is wrong with her because if she was performing well, everything is probably fine. So, professional effectiveness, of course, it is going to be reduced, but not from the very beginning. And the other thing is that it might really happen that we're going to have lower self-evaluation. So we can even undermine our competences, having that kind of the thoughts, even related to that memory lapse I was mentioning. Because it can probably happen that if I'm the person who is experiencing burnout, I will have in my mind, oh no, I didn't remember about something. I forgot about something. I had those issues with taking decisions. So it means that I will probably even blame myself that something is wrong with me, and it will create some kind of the vicious circle. Unfortunately, again, because I will blame myself, I will just add something again negative to my own well being. So it won't be something positive, unfortunately. And finally, if I was mentioning, or almost finally, if I was mentioning to you some kind of the emotions, I would say that something what is really, really important, and that's how I'm already distinguishing burnout from stress or even chronic stress, is that as long as we're still in the stress mode, we have some kind of the power. It doesn't have to be positive power, of course, because I'm under stress, I'm under pressure. I have been experiencing that for a longer time period, and probably it really means that I'm not going to experience those positive and pleasant emotions. But what is going to happen if I'm experiencing stress is that I still have energy either to fight because I'm experiencing some stressful, for example, meeting, I'm experiencing some stressful relationship with somebody, and I'm gonna be fighting because I'm simply like really so angry that I'm gonna fight. But fight means energy. Or I'm gonna fly away. But flight also means energy because I have to have energy to run away, to escape from something. So again, I'm experiencing some kind of unpleasant relation with another person at work. So what I do is that I'm thinking about any possible situation when I can be in touch with that person. And what I do, I run away, I escape, I avoid this person. So still, I have to invest my energy. But burnout is about lacking energy. I don't have power. I'm powerless. I'm really like helpless. I'm experiencing helplessness. I'm not able to do anything. I can feel, for example, apart from that fatigue, I can feel boredom. So generally, it means that I'm in that kind of the state where I'm going to tell you, what can I do? Nothing. There is nothing I can do. I have no impact on anything, unfortunately. And it is again that kind of the reason why, unfortunately, people who experience burnout, they will not have energy to change anything. Because if I don't have power, how can I change anything? Because it could be like really simple that if you were observing somebody who is experiencing burnout, let's say at work, because of some kind of relations at work, because of being overwhelmed, you are talking with that person and you say, come on, just change your job, like change something, talk with somebody, just do something. But again, if I experience burnout, I'm not able to do it. I can listen to you, but I really do not have energy to do anything because I'm in the mode of I can't do anything. I don't have impact. I'm frozen and I'm not able physically, mentally, and emotionally to do anything. And that's that difference. That if it is about burnout, it means that it can really lead to the depletion of our resources pool. This is some kind of the example I'm giving because I really like that kind of the idea of having a sack, that if it is empty, so if my body is empty, it means that I have nothing to do. I'm not able to do anything because if I'm empty inside, if I don't have any kind of the resources, what can I do? Nothing. Because probably I was investing so much to different kind of the activities that unfortunately I forgot about myself. And now if I'm empty, I'm not able to do anything. So burnout leads to the depletion of our resource pool, and we have to do everything what we can not to let it happen. Because if it happens, I would even say it's too late. Because again, no energy, no power. So what can we do? Of course, there is something we can do because let's say that if at work I'm going to experience burnout, of course, then if somebody is going to tell me, oh, just, take the weekend, like, maybe city break or something, as I told you, it won't happen because I won't be able to regain my energy. But probably something that could happen is that I can take, for example, sabbatical. And that's also the question to you. Do you know what sabbatical is? Because it can be one of the solutions that can be implemented if, unfortunately, we already experience burnout. But to avoid, what can we do? I would say, of course, there are plenty of different kind of the things we can apply, but one of the most important is that we have to protect and equip our resource pool. And that means that we have to know ourselves. We have to know what kind of the activities deprive us of energy, what kind of the activities, what kind of the people, they bring some kind of harm to us. We have to know what kind of the even competences we are missing, because maybe this is the matter of assertiveness. I'm not assertive, and because of that, I'm really investing a lot of time to complete the task of the other people. But if I'm going to work on my assertiveness, I will be able to set the boundaries, and probably that's how I'm going to save my time. So I have to be aware of my competences, my skills, my boundaries. I have to understand my body and its reactions. I have to understand my emotions. I have to really be able to stop for a moment and, in fact, detect my body. What is happening with me? What am I feeling right now? What do I need? What supports me and what doesn't? So it's like scanning our body, our mind, our emotions to be able to detect if, even if we experience stress, there is something we can still do about it, or is it maybe about that sabbatical or the support of the other people? Because sometimes, if it is about burnout and we don't have that kind of internal energy, we have to ask other people for help, and that could be the only thing that we could do. So, what I'm wishing to you, despite the fact that the topic wasn't the easiest one, because that was about burnout, is that please take care of yourselves. Take care of your well-being, and please make sure that you always can dedicate time to yourself and to your needs. And of course, at the very end, what I can say that if you liked the podcast and the other topics, probably you can just enter our website and check what are the webinars, podcast shorts we can offer. And probably if you also want to participate in any kind of the trainings related to leadership, communication, business courses, if it is about English, please enter again our website and enjoy any kind of the content that we provide to you for free. Thank you very much for that.